Want to go to Carrie Severino on all of this, the Judicial Crisis Network president, the former clerk for Justice Clarence Thomas. And Carrie, good to have you. I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't know if you keep in touch with Justice Thomas, but how the court is reacting, how he might be reacting to this leak and the concern for the court and its image going forward.
Yeah, you know, this is the kind of thing that really has rocked the whole clerk world of people I know of clerk for various justices, because it's such a shocking thing to have a leak like this. Even think of big cases like Bush versus Gore, where there was, I've heard literal fighting between clerks, people getting pushed into the fountain at the court, and yet no leaks. So this is a huge thing that I think will really undermine the collegiality and the working relationship within the court. And, you know, I think it's also got to really rattle the justices who thought they could trust people. I think they're going to have to be maybe keep things closer to the vest. And, you know, I think the Chief Justice is really looking into the identity of the leaker. I'm sure that person and all the justices on the court are going to be so frustrated with this that that person is going to face serious repercussions when he or she is found. But I do hope that the justices, and I think this will be the impact, that they will be very careful not to allow the public pressure to affect their decision-making, because I think that would really only encourage continued leaks like this. It seems like the goal was potentially to bully and intimidate the court. So I think, if anything, it should strengthen their spine to not be intimidated. You know, Carrie, I caught your distinction there, when this person is found, not if. You have no doubt that that person eventually will be found. I'm pretty confident. I think they're going to put all the resources available. I know this is something the Chief Justice really emphasized to us when we were prepping to be clerks, how important this is. And people have told the story of Justice Scalia telling his clerks, if anyone did leak something, he would use everything in his power to make it clear that they had no longer could have a legal career in this town. And I really think the justices are going to take that seriously. Do we know how it was leaked, Carrie, whether it was physically given to Politico, or whether exactly how it all happened, or whether it was a digital copy? Or what do you hear? Yeah. I don't think we know that yet. I mean, from the looks of it, it was a printed copy that was then scanned by Politico, by the leaker. I don't think we know. So I think that's a lot of that is something still to be figured out. And depending on how it was leaked, that also could implicate other potential
so when you worked
criminal
there, Carrie, I mean, what was
misuse.
I apologize. When you worked there, what was the? No. Obviously, you had standards to adhere to, handling documents of any sort. What do you think they have tightened up now in lieu of this? Well, you know, when I was working there, you could never have left the building with something like this. You couldn't have any interior work product leave the building, whether it's on a flash drive or printed or whatever. I'm sure they must have had to modify that in 2020 when the court went virtual. And what my guess is, maybe some of that persisted and now has been tightened back down again, because they realize the importance of keeping these things such close holds. I think the court's going to definitely be responding to that. Could you leave the building, Carrie, with the couldn't leave the building? Like I could. Go ahead. No, go on. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. No, I just meant to ask you. I mean, when you worked there, I mean, were you able to leave, let's say, with a satchel or briefcase, or would people inspect you on the way out? What was the policy? You know, that's something I can imagine they might have to be implementing now. That was never something. It was clearly understood you could not leave the building with these things, but no one was, you know, making you open your bags for search. That would almost have been insulting, because everyone viewed it so professionally. So there was a sense of professionalism and collegiality that even if you disagree, you all recognize this is so important, and more important than your own personal political agenda here. So it's sad to see that institution of the court so dramatically reffed by this decision. I imagine that they're going to have to start doing something like that if you can't trust the clerks themselves. Well put, Carrie. Thank you very much, Carrie Severino, on all of that.